One guy in Ohio owns 14 coin-operated car washes, 6 propane exchange cages, and a storage facility, and none of them have ever met each other. That's on purpose, because when one of his businesses is dead in January, another one is wide awake. Stack enough boring businesses with different seasons, and you get something that looks a lot like money that never sleeps. 15 businesses, 4 seasons, 1 idea. Stack them right, and the calendar stops mattering. We'll show you the startup costs, the real profit, and the AI edge for each one. Number 1 runs quietly through every season, and barely anyone notices it's the biggest earner on this list. Every elevator in the country legally needs a working phone line for emergencies. Someone has to make sure that line actually rings when it should. That someone is usually a small monitoring company nobody's heard of, charging $5 to $15 a month per elevator, forever. A guy in Milwaukee runs 1,100 lines from a spare bedroom. Startup cost is almost nothing if you partner with an existing alarm monitoring center. Your real job is sales, walking into property management offices and signing multi-year contracts. AI now handles the actual monitoring, flagging deadlines, and dispatching alerts automatically, so one person can manage thousands of units without ever picking up a phone at 2 a.m. This business doesn't care about seasons at all, which is exactly why it belongs at the bottom of a seasonal stack. It's the steady hum underneath everything else. The business that pays the same boring amount every single month, snow or sun, and quietly funds the riskier bets on this list. Every parking lot needs its lines repainted every year or two, or the whole thing looks abandoned. That's a business. One guy with a striping machine and a truck can clear $400 to $800 per lot and do 3 or 4 lots in a single afternoon. Startup cost is $15,000 to $25,000 for equipment, and most of that pays back in one good spring season. This is a warm weather trade. Paint doesn't cure right in the cold, so smart owners run it hard from April through October and go quiet in winter. AI comes in through satellite and drone mapping now, letting a solo operator scan a lot's exact dimensions from his phone, generate a materials list, and quote a job in minutes instead of driving out to measure it himself. Combine that with route planning software, and one crew can hit twice as many lots per week. Coming up, we'll look at a business that does the exact opposite, one that only wakes up when it's freezing outside. If you own the right patch of land, a carrier will pay you rent for decades just to bolt a tower onto it. Leases typically run $1,000 to $3,000 a month, locked in for 25 years with built-in increases. There's basically zero ongoing work once it's signed. The catch is getting the deal itself. Tower companies have gotten aggressive about buying out these leases for a lump sum, and plenty of landowners sign away decades of income for a fraction of its value. This is where AI actually protects the little guy. Lease analysis tools now model the true future value of a tower lease in seconds, so an owner can see that a $40,000 buyout offer is actually walking away from $300,000 in rent. This business has no season at all. It pays the same freezing check in January as it does in July, which makes it one of the best anchors in a seasonal stack. Quiet income that never even notices the weather. You don't own the homes, you own the dirt underneath them, and that dirt is nearly impossible to build more of because most cities banned new mobile home parks decades ago. Lot rents run $200 to $500 a month, and a modest park with 80 lots can throw off $10,000 to $20,000 a month in profit once the mortgage is handled. Startup capital is steep, often $500,000 to a few million to buy an existing park, but tenants almost never leave. Moving a mobile home costs more than most people's homes are worth. AI now runs the day-to-day, automated rent collection, smart maintenance scheduling, even chatbots handling tenant complaints at midnight, letting an owner run a park from another state. This one barely moves with the seasons either. People need shelter in July and January the same. Next up, a business that only makes real money on days most people would rather stay inside. A self-serve car wash has almost no labor, just water, soap, and quarters, or these days, tap to pay. A well-located 4-bay wash can pull $8,000 to $15,000 a month in revenue, with margins north of 50% since there's no staff to pay. Startup cost for land, bays, and equipment runs $200,000 to $500,000, which sounds steep until you realize it basically runs itself once it's built. This is a peak summer business. Dusty roads and pollen make people wash their cars constantly from May through September, and it goes quiet in the cold months in most regions. AI now watches bay usage patterns and adjusts pricing automatically during peak hours, and predictive sensors flag a broken vacuum or a low soap tank before a customer ever complains. One owner we found in Texas runs 14 locations and checks on all of them from a single phone app, spending maybe 2 hours a week actually managing the business. Here's a business that gets its busiest exactly when the weather turns dangerous. Used tire shops buy takeoffs and trade-ins for $5 to $15 each and resell them for $40 to $80. And the first snap of cold weather or first ice storm sends people flooding in for anything with tread left. A small shop can profit $3,000 to $6,000 a month, and a well-run multi-bay operation can clear $15,000 or more. Startup cost is modest, $20,000 to $50,000 for space, a lift, and starting inventory. The real edge now is AI-powered inventory matching, software that scans a customer's exact tire size and stock photo and instantly tells the counter guy which used tires in the back actually fit, cutting a 10-minute search down to 30 seconds. Some shops even use computer vision to grade tire tread depth automatically from a photo, so pricing stays consistent even when the owner isn't there. Winter is the big spike, but tire failures happen year-round, so the lights never fully go dark. Quick question for you, when's the last time you thought about who owns the ice machine outside your gas station? Nobody does, and that's exactly why it's a great business. A company installs a standalone ice vending machine outside a convenience store, gas station, or campground, and it pumps out bagged ice around the clock with zero staff. One machine costs $15,000 to $40,000 and can profit $1,000 to $3,000 a month during peak season alone. This is a brutally seasonal business. Summer is everything, especially near lakes, beaches, and campgrounds. And revenue can drop 80% in winter in colder states. AI helps close that gap two ways: smart routes for restocking based on real-time inventory sensors, and dynamic pricing that nudges prices up during heat waves and holiday weekends automatically. Some operators now place their machines seasonally, physically relocating units from lake towns in summer to ski towns in winter using the same trailer they bought the machine on. Owning a road of ATMs means you get paid every single time someone needs cash and doesn't want to drive to a bank. A decent machine in a bar or a smoke shop can generate $200 to $600 a month in surcharge fees, and an owner with 15 or 20 machines can clear $4,000 to $8,000 a month total. One machine costs $2,000 to $4,000, and the real skill is landing good locations: bars, laundromats, and smoke shops with steady foot traffic. Bar and event locations spike hard in summer and around holidays, while laundromats and convenience stores stay flat and steady all year, which makes ATMs a natural little seasonal stack all on their own. AI has quietly transformed the boring part. Cash forecasting software now predicts exactly when each machine will run low, based on historical withdrawal patterns. So route drivers only refill machines that actually need it instead of guessing. That alone can cut driving time by a third and keep more machines earning at full capacity. Garage doors break in a very specific pattern. Springs snap most often in winter when cold metal gets brittle, and openers fail most in summer heat when motors overheat. That means garage door repair is a business that flips its own seasons internally, which is a nice trick if you can staff for it. A single technician van can profit $6,000 to $10,000 a month, and startup cost is $15,000 to $30,000 for a truck, tools, and starting inventory of springs and openers. Emergency calls, someone locked out or a door stuck shut, pay a premium, often $150 to $300 just to show up. AI dispatch software now routes technicians by predicted urgency and drive time instead of just call order, and diagnostic apps let customers describe the noise their door is making and get a probable cause and price estimate before the tech even arrives. A few shops have started using this to triple book slower days by promising accurate 2-hour windows instead of the old all-day wait. Seal coating protects driveways and parking lots from cracking, and it can only be applied in warm, dry weather, which makes it one of the most tightly seasonal businesses on this whole list. A crew can seal a driveway for $150 to $400, or a commercial lot for $2,000 to $8,000. And a solid two-truck operation can profit $20,000 to $40,000 across a good 6-month season. Startup cost runs $20,000 to $60,000 fully for seal coating tanks, a sprayer rig, and a truck. The trick to making this profitable year-round on paper is packing every sellable day between May and October. And that's exactly where AI earns its keep. Weather prediction models now schedule jobs around dry windows down to the hour, and route optimization crams 3 or 4 extra jobs into a week by minimizing drive time between lots. Owners increasingly pair this business with snow plowing in winter, using the exact same trucks, which turns one seasonal business into 2. Here's an easy one to picture: those metal cages outside grocery stores full of propane tanks. An operator swaps empty tanks for full ones, and stores pay a small fee per swap, while the operator profits $3 to $6 per tank exchanged. A road of 30 to 50 locations can profit $5,000 to $10,000 a month, with startup costs of $30,000 to $80,000, depending on tank inventory and truck needs. Summer is grilling season, obviously, but this business has a second smaller peak most people miss: cold weather heating season in rural areas that still rely on propane for backup heat. That double season is rare and valuable. AI now forecasts exactly which cages will run empty first, based on regional weather and local event calendars. A nearby festival or a holiday weekend spikes demand predictably, and Routes software adjusts refill schedules automatically instead of a driver guessing which stops need extra tanks. One operator in Georgia told us his software now catches demand spikes for county fairs 2 weeks before he would have noticed on his own. This one's simple: steel shipping containers rented out for temporary storage on construction sites, event lots, or during home renovations. A single container costs $2,000 to $4,000 to buy and can rent for $100 to $250 a month, which means it pays for itself in under 2 years and then just keeps earning. An owner with 50 containers can profit $8,000 to $15,000 a month with almost no maintenance. They're steel boxes. They don't break. Construction and moving season peaks hard from spring through fall, while a smaller winter bump comes from holiday retail overflow storage. AI shows up here in a surprisingly simple way. GPS tracking and smart locks let owners monitor an entire fleet remotely, know instantly if a container hasn't moved in months, and even unlock it for a renter from an app instead of driving out with a key. That single change let one Ohio owner manage 200 containers with one part-time employee. When someone stops paying their storage bill, the facility eventually auctions off everything inside, sight unseen, to the highest bidder. Units go for anywhere from $20 to a few $100s, and a good flipper can turn that into $200 to $1,500 reselling the contents online or at a resale shop. This isn't steady income, it's opportunistic, and the real seasonal pattern is tied to other businesses, not weather. Storage defaults spike after the holidays when people are broke from Christmas, and again in late summer after moving season leaves people behind on payments. AI has genuinely changed this hobby into a real business. Resale apps now use photo recognition to instantly estimate the value of furniture, tools, and electronics glimpsed through a half-open unit door before bidding even starts. And some flippers run pricing comps automatically the moment they win a unit, so they know what to list everything for within minutes instead of hours of research. It's still a gamble, but it's a much better informed gamble than it used to be. Self-serve dog wash is a tiny booth with a tub, a sprayer, warm water, and shampoo, and owners pay $10 to $15 to wash their own dog instead of making a mess at home. One station can profit $1,000 to $3,000 a month, and a small strip of 4 stations inside a pet store or laundromat can profit $5,000 to $8,000 a month combined. Startup cost is refreshingly low, $10,000 to $25,000 per station, including plumbing. Muddy spring and shedding season in early summer are the 2 big spikes. Dogs get filthy and owners get busy, so wash traffic doubles during those windows. AI's role here is almost invisible but effective. Smart water heaters and usage sensors Cut utility costs by preheating only during predicted busy hours based on past traffic. And some locations use simple computer vision to count dog visits per day without any staff on site, feeding straight into automated marketing that texts past customers exactly when pollen season hits and their dog is about to get muddy again. This is the one that ties the whole stack together because self-storage barely cares what season it is. People downsize in winter, move in summer, inherit clutter after the holidays, and start businesses in spring. And all of it ends up in a storage unit. A mid-sized facility with 200 units can profit $15,000 to $30,000 a month once it's stabilized. And startup costs range from $500,000 to $2 million depending on land and construction, which sounds huge until you realize occupancy rates nationally sit around 90%, and this business barely dipped during the last recession. AI runs almost the entire operation now. Dynamic pricing software adjusts rates unit by unit based on real-time demand, the same way airlines price seats. Automated gate access and smart locks means zero staff is needed on site most days. And predictive models flag which units are likely to go delinquent weeks before a payment is missed. One owner we found runs 6 facilities and visits maybe once a month. Everything else, marketing, pricing, collections, runs itself while he sleeps, which honestly is the whole theme of this episode. None of these 15 businesses are exciting on their own, but stack a summer business with a winter one and a steady one underneath both, and you've built something that pays you in every month of the year, not just the good ones. That's the real unlock. It's not about finding one perfect business. It's about building a calendar that never has a dead month. Tell me in the comments which 2 businesses on this list you'd stack together first. And if this kind of boring, profitable stuff is your thing, subscribe because we do this every week.